Oh, that's not where the camera's at. The camera's down there. We're back. What are we doing today? We're going to sew a teepee. You know we're going to need some stuff too. Check this out. All right, what are we going to need first? Good heavy-duty sewing machine. We're sewing canvas.
Bunch of threads.
And hit the like button.
Some of this belting stuff.
Some two-sided tape for hemming our edges.
And hit the subscribe button too.
Various. Straight
Edges.
It helps our algorithms.
Good pair of fabric scissors.
Rotary cutter. Careful with these. They're dangerous.
And some clippy-doos.
Thank you.
Let's sew something.
You ready? Yeah, dude.
This episode proudly sponsored by Gnome Domes Alaska, a nonprofit workers cooperative manufacturing products that offer affordable and sustainable living solutions. Well, here we go, folks. First step in making a teepee is filling a bunch of bobbins. Extra bottom thread goes down there in the machines. This is Ian's first lesson in how to sew. He's going to fill all these up for us. The reason we're filling all these up is because that way when it runs out, we can just put another one in instead of stopping, filling a bobbin, rethreading, yada, yada, yada. So we fill a bunch up ahead of time. All right, first thing we're going to learn is a hem. And a hem basically is folding this over. It's going to be a double fold like that, okay? The reason you do that is it keeps all these edges from fraying. It reinforces your edge. What we're going to use is this 1/2 inch double-sided hem tape. Put that on there. So you can get back off that. Alright, this is supposed to be simple. Ooh, I got an idea. You rip it instead of cutting it. I got it from the end. Hold that off like that. Okay? And that's a 1/2 inch, right? So you just fold it over to the tape. Now what's nice about this tape too is it will help seal that seam. Okay? Alright. Then you fold it over again. We got, you can pin it, but I like using a clip or something like that, like this to hold it. Let's see. Okay. These would actually have marks on them where the 1/2 inch is. You can go down here, get it on your 1/2 inch mark. And none of this is exact perfect. It's never going to be. Fabric stretches and moves. So you got to keep that into consideration too. Okay. Now you can do it going in the machine this way, or you can do it going in this way. I recommend this way for your first one. See how that's on the 1/2 inch right there? Okay. It's on a 1/2 inch right there. That'll help you. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be as straight as possible. Okay? Where's needle position? There it is. That's your needle position, side to side.
Oh,
That's in the middle, okay?
Yeah.
We're going over to the edge because we want to sew close to this edge right here. Okay? What we're going to do is an 1/8 inch in. Okay? This can slide down out of my way. Put that down like that. Hold your threads back. And just run this edge all the way along this. With your pedal. Make sure you hold them threads back when you're starting, okay? There has to be speed on this thing.
That's seriously?
No, that's
No, I know. But
there
that's-
has to be a
yeah.
speed on this thing. All right, our boy Ian is learning how to do a hem. We got the stitching part down right. We forgot to fold over the last one. Twice. I'm gonna fold it over twice. Because you want to get rid of all them jagged edges. And this stuff is supposedly self-stick. It's not the greatest self-stick. We've got a lot of this to do, that's for sure. Now, this is your first time with a sewing machine, right, Ian?
Yep, first time was today.
First time was today. We had a little bit of problems with it out of the box with the thick canvas, doing some adjustments, but we figured it out. Okay, he moved his needle over all the way to one side. And he's going to run the edge of the fabric along the presser foot, and that will give him about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Speed set pretty high. Can you handle that? You can turn it down if we need to.
I think I got it now.
And remember, when you're putting it through, guide it. Don't try not to pull it, because if you pull it, it'll bunch it up.
By George, I think he's got the hang of it. Oh, a little crazy. Calm down. Oh, look, calm down. Now you can always lift your needle up, lift your foot up a little bit, and move it back over to where it's supposed to be. Move your foot, lift your foot up. There you go. Just a little bit. There you go. Now start over again. There you go. If you can find the pedal. We keep losing the pedal on the floor. So what he did was he hit the knot button, so it ties a little bit of a knot in it. Now lift your needle up. You ain't gonna be able to pull it out of there without your needle up. There you go. Now pull it straight out. And you don't need those because you got a little cutter right here. Right there. Now, what do you do next, Ian? The other side. The other side of that seam, because we want double stitching going down there. So he's moving the foot over. Actually, no. Yeah, he was going in the wrong direction. That's why I wasn't looking right. Flip it around the other side going in. Yep, there you go. There we go. Now you can run your presser foot right along there, and it'll be perfect. Alright. We've got a nice double even row of stitches. That's how you do a hem on a teepee.
Alright, we got the boys over there working on the mass. They're getting all the bricks set while they're doing that. I got some teepee action going on. Alright, see what we got going on. Yeah, I went ahead and cut this out so you guys can see the concept here, what we're trying to do without having to unroll the whole gosh darn teepee. First thing we're going to do with this thing is, this is the way it's cut out currently, and it's folded up so we can run it through the sewing machine. But along this edge right here, this is our one that I remember. If you watched the other video, if you haven't watched the other video, what the hell are you doing here right now without watching the first video? You're going to be completely lost. Stop. Go back and watch the other video. Anyway, so what are we doing? We got our teepee laid out. And we are going to take this one right here, first of all, and I'll get a piece of fabric, and I'll show you. Okay, you wouldn't believe this side conversation we're having on here, but anyway, let's time that out so I can get back to the teepee here. All right, so I'm going to show you a little bit of so I don't have to stretch the whole freaking thing out here. I'm going to show you a sample of what we're going to be doing on this first edge. We're going to be working on this 8.5 inch wide flap, because if you remember, that's what we cut this side at, 8.5 inches. And as you can see here, hopefully you can see here, it's 8.5 inches. Ooh, let me widen this out a little bit. There we go. That might work a little bit better. Where's my tape at? Next thing we're going to do is right along this edge right here, and right along this edge right here, we're going to use this seaming tape. And what this stuff does, it sticks it together and holds it together so you don't have to pin it. And it also helps waterproof that seam when you stitch through it. Keeps all your little holes from coming through. So I put that on there. It's a two-sided tape, so now I got to struggle with getting the back off of it. So bear with me. All right, so we got that side off. Make sure you guys can see this. What we're going to do is we're going to fold this over. Fold this over. And that is our 1/2 inch seam allowance right there. Now, the flap on this side is 4 inches. This flap, remember, overlaps this one. 4 inches. That's why this is 8 inches wide. Now we take this off of here. We take that off of there. Then we fold this over. And so you can see, we line it up with our line right there. And then we're going to run double stitching down there and double stitching down there. We're good to go. And hopefully you can see this. We'll do a little bit of a test run. That ain't good. Alright, take two. Let's try it again. This time I'm going to try it. Oh, it just pulled the freaking thread. Yeah! Take three. Bump the camera. Start it with the needle in the down position. Did nothing. Alright, I think we finally got our tension set the way we want it. I'm going to start with the needle down in the fabric first. Give it a fighting chance. All you're going to do is guide it through. Don't push, don't pull, don't stretch. Let's check this out, see if it works this time. Not too bad. Not too bad if I say so myself. That's a gorgeous seam. So there's our 4 inches. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do one down to this side right here. Move our needle over. So it's all the way to this side. We're going to run flush with this side of the foot. That gives us our 1/8 inch. All right, when we got a little bit less thickness on thread, we're going to have to adjust our tension. But that's why we practice here. We'll get that fixed. That's an easy fix, no problem. But that's basically what you want to look for right there. We may stretch our stitch length out just a little bit because that's a little too close together for my liking. But there's your 4-inch flap. The next thing we got to do down the road with these is put our eyelets in here. All right, Nomalies, now that we got this figured out, this is going to be our 4-inch long one on this side. And we'll do the same thing over here, but it'll be folded over just on itself, back once. at that. With 4 inches, and then this one will wrap around, go over there. So that's the first kind of seam that we got to do. All the rest of them, according to this plan here, are going to be hems. So that's going to be hemmed around. These are our smoke flaps. That's going to be hemmed around. That's going to be hemmed around. That little piece we got to reinforce. Told you about that in the other video. Gonna put another double layer, reinforce that, because that's what lifts up this whole freaking thing. And then we got to do reinforcing around the door opening, and one big round swooping hem. So let's show you how we're going to do a simple hem stitch. Get that set up, and then I'm going to pull the big tarp out. And I just got to get freaking sewing. Just got to get all that thread off that spool, through that needle, and into this fabric in long straight runs. Let's do it. Yep, that old timey music. We like that old timey music. You ever see Old Brother Where Art Thou? That movie?
Yeah.
One of my favorite films. I wore out fucking that CD for that soundtrack. I wore out 3 times over.
How many plays do you get out of?
Huh?
How many plays do you get out of vinyl?
No, it was a CD.
First.
Depends on how well you take care of it and how many times it comes out of the CD player. If it stays in the CD player, they're immaculate forever. As soon as you take them out of the CD player, they're scratch the fire. CDs were the wave of the future.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna last forever. Never scratch like vinyl. Never skip. Okay, we're done with our flappy dappy doos. Go around like that. We got them all sewed up. Next thing we're going to be working on is our smoke flappy dappy doos. It's not whited out too much, but it's these 2 little pieces right here. And I got a bigger drawn, or a better drawn. Close enough. So if you can see this is basically your center, where it's going to be our lifting poles. It'll be over here. And this is the flaps we're working on. And these are at the top of the teepee. And when the teepee comes together, y'all, you adjust these. You adjust these according to your wind. Open them up, close them up, change directions, and that's get your smoke out of the teepee. So that's what we're going to work on. We got to do a hem stitch on these edges around that flap. That flap right there. I'm going to do a hem right along there on both them flaps. Alright, we got this set up so we got half our teepee on that side, half our teepee on that side, two big piles. And this was our smoky flap right here. And we're going to take our two-sided tape, just like we did with our other stitcheries. We'll get them stuck. Go right along there. And the clippy doos. The reason we're using these, you can use binder clips, anything, paper clips. The reason you're using these is because we don't want to poke holes in this, because the more holes you poke in there, the more rain has a chance of getting in. We got our flap here. Now the rest of our other flap is way down here in this pile. So we gotta roll up this pile. One more. And you're going to pick that up. I'm going to pick this up. And there we go. There's the other half of our teepee. All we need is the smoke flats. I'll just lay it out, do the same thing we did on the other one. Alright, we got a pile over there, pile over there. We're going to run this thing through. Hopefully it won't get up over there. Okay, Normalies, we are on the portion that I've been dreading the most because it's in the middle of the whole frickin' teepee thing. And you'll see here in a little bit when I start setting up the sewing machine. Boy, that's going to be a pain in the batuska. But what we do got to work on is our little reinforcing area right here. See this right here? See that little triangle area right there? We're going to make that dotted line triangle, which is actually we already made. That's this right here. And that's going to get sewed on here to the main body of the teepee, because what happens is your pole goes up here and gets tied to that, and this is what you use to lift this whole thing up in the air. So this has got to be super strong, reinforced, doubled, all kinds of stuff. So that's very important. We don't mess this thing up, and that's what we're working on right here. What did we do? I got a little bit better close-up picture here of what we're trying to accomplish. These are our smoke flaps here, and that's our reinforcing right there. And basically 12 inches down, it's going to be this point that we cut out. If you remember that on the other video. If you don't remember from the other video, go back and watch the other video. You missed a good part. So we're going to put this here and line this up with that. So that's I don't know how else better to explain this to you. Kind of confusing unless I'm doing it, but this is basically what we're making. This triangle here is this is the main body of the teepee. The little point's gonna stick up here, right? These edges are gonna get folded over, okay? And we're actually going to also, when we sew this to the main body of the teepee, put these what do they call this? Strap, banding, edge? No, it's not edging. What do they call this thing? What do they call it? Belting. We're going to put this belting in here because this is what we tie to the poles. So this is going to go in between the two layers, get sewed between the two layers, nice and rigid. And this whole thing right here is going to be what lifts up the entire teepee. So let me get the sewing machine out, get this all situated, figure out what I'm going to do. All right, I should have got this laid out here. This is the very center of the teepee. Half the teepee's on this side, half's on this side. This is the middle, and this is your pointy smoke flap here. This piece here gets sewed to the main body, and this gets overlapped, the point that we left there. They get folded over and sewed down, and this gets sewed down here, here, and here. And at the same time we're doing that, these strappy dudes are going to go inside here. And the reason this is cut off here is they're going to stick out the top like this, like that, and this is what you tie your pole to. And then they are down inside here, sewed into the main body, so it's pulling on a larger area rather than small points. Small points when you're pulling on canvas, especially after the canvas gets a little bit older, it likes to rip. So I'm going to make sure it's reinforced as good as possible, because this thing's going to last a long time. Hopefully we won't be taking it up and down quite a bit, or a lot, but yeah, just in case. That's how you do it. Okay, Nomalies, we got this set in place. I've got it pinned in 4 spots. When you're working with waterproof canvas and stuff like this, you want to try and avoid pinning as much as possible. Now I'm pinning through an area where that double-sided tape is. Where is it? This stuff here that I put down, because this helps seal where you sew. That's why you put this down and you sew over top of it, because it seals where you sew. Anyways, so minimal pins to hold this in place, but this is in the middle. We got half teepee this way, half teepee this way. We got our flappy do here. We got our reinforcements, our banding going down through here. Now we got to figure out how to get half this thing through this half the sewing machine, because you know sewing machines have like a big motor on one side. Fun. All right, I think we got enough of this out of the way and loose that we can sew this without too much trouble. It's gonna be fun. So what's really challenging is our foot pedal musted up. So there's a button on here to start it and stop it. So you gotta hold it, start it, sew, and then hit the button to make sure it stops. Because if you don't hit the button, it'll just keep on sewing. Let's try this. See how we do? Hey, hey, nice stitches. That's one side done. Now we got to figure out our bunches and get the other side done. And across the bottom of the triangle. Reinforcing strap sewed in. We're gonna sew down here by hand. Some heavy duty waxed thread. That will secure these nice and tight. One other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some sewing across here. Make this one nice solid unit. There we go. I'm going across here. Once we do our reinforcing on these, that'll be nice and tight. Getting ready for one of our next steps. We couldn't find a 1/2-inch punch holes in the fabric. So we brought out our trusty old sharpening stone and we're making a punch. That's how we roll. How far?
No.
Can't find it, we make it.
What's up?
Alright, while Ian's working on that, we're going to get back to our flappy doos. Next thing we need to do with our flappy doos, actually, let me show you on here first. Okay, this is our teepee. When you got a teepee, you got poles that want to come up through here. Well, if we just cut our flaps and leave them like that, bring the teepee together, there ain't no room for poles. So how are we going to take care of that? One way to take care of that is this gap right here. That makes up about 8 inches. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip this down here, and we're going to put a triangle piece in here. And what that's going to do, that's going to open this up to give us more room for our poles to come around. It's a little easier to see on the teepee here. If we cut a slit right there and sew a triangle in there to make up that little gap, then we got enough room for our poles to go through. Oh, yeah. Enough room for our poles to go through. Voila! Alright, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some triangles. It's going to be 8 inches here. It's going to be 32 inches. Actually, this side right here is going to be 32 inches on the flat. What I did is I did a 32-inch rectangle. I came up 10 inches, made the rectangle, and then I connected the points in between. I'm going to cut this out, and these are going to be our triangles that are going to fit on either side of that smoke flap dealio. Alright, Ian says he's got a decent edge on there. So we're going to try this. See what that does.
Well,
Did it work?
no. Not
Nope.
even through one.
Alright, back to the stone. Not even through one. It takes some time. You'll get it though. Alright, round 2. Let's see if this works.
We got one. Nope. Not
Nope.
even one.
Not even one.
And it dented the brass.
And it dented the brass. We may have to go to steel.
Huh.
Okay, what I got going on here is I got my smoke flap all rolled up so it's not too much in my way. And I cut down along here. Look at that blue line that we snapped. I cut down along there 30 inches. And I'm going to open this up like this. And this triangle's going to go in here. I'll flop that down and show you. This is going to go in here like this. Okay, we're going to roll that so the frays are all tucked together. And we're going to do the same thing on this. This is going to be challenging. And then when I get down to this little point here, I'm going to get a little close up. I'll show you exactly how you want to do that, because this is the trickiest part right here, besides rolling these over. All right, I'll show you a close up down here at this point. Now, I drew these lines on here. You're probably going to want to use something that washes off or hides, but I did that just so you guys can see. But it's going to be way at the top of the teepee, so I'm not really going to see it. And what I did was I cut slits down this way, which gave me a little triangle to tuck underneath here. That way, when I roll this over and hem it, we're going to go down here, and across there, and it makes that little point come together nicely, and it'll look good. Ignore that two-sided tape in there. You won't see it when we're done. Okay, we used double-sided tape and got our triangle set in place here. And this is kind of a tricky dealio here, because you want to fold it over onto itself so your frayed edges are tucked inside. So that's folded over, and then when it comes down to here, I made that little dealio I showed you so you can tuck that in. This isn't the neatest in the world. I'll fix that a little bit, and you can use seam sealer on that, but this is also going to get a triangle on here for reinforcing, so it covers all that up anyway. so it's not that big a deal. But anyway, time to sew these, and then we got one more thing left before we get to test fit this teepee. Okay, Nomies, I think we're going to wrap that up here. When we come back next time, what we're going to do is we're going to make a bunch of these triangles. Because like I showed you with this here, any spot like this we need to reinforce with a triangle. Any spot down around the bottom of the teepee that's going to have a loop to tie down to keep, the teepee down is going to get a reinforcing triangle. So we've got quite a bit of these reinforcing triangles to make. We've also got some edge banding we've got to do. We'll show you about that. And basically where that goes is like along the top of this smoke flap here, where we don't want to lose anything for a hem. We'll take a piece of this fabric here and go like that and cover up that edge and sew it down, and that'll be nice and pretty and tight and looking good. So this is a lot of detailed work, so we're going to skip past this. We'll see you next time when we do this triangles. Oh, and the other thing we got to do, you got to make all our little holes for our sticks to go through for these to come together. So Ian's working on a punch to punch these holes out. We've got waxed thread we're going to use, and all of this stuff is hand stitched, so that's going to take some time. Bear with us. We will be back soon. Until next time.
I'm a know-me, he's a know-me, she's a know-me, you're a know-me, wouldn't you like to be a know-me? Click the subscribe down on the bottom, click the like button down on the bottom, or make a comment down on the bottom. Peace out.